Hello, hello. Welcome to Insta Chat with the Journalist. Happy weekend. Today I'm talking to Bantwanas, which is an electronic group. They make beautiful house music, and they are based in South Africa, but their music is appreciated worldwide. And I'll be chatting to Ublanka Mazimela, who I've had before on the show. But yeah, last time I had him, I was talking to him as Blanca Mazimela. But today, I'm to Blanca as a representative for Bantwanas. So yeah, they have an EP dropping soon. Hi guys.
What's happening?
Yo, yo.
I know nothing much. How are you guys?
Nah,
Good.
we all good, man.
Yeah, I know. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Blanca, I've heard you on the show before. You and I had a very long conversation last time, and
Never fin.
I was very curious last time about Bantwanas, but I'm
Hmm.
glad, I'm glad that now, it's more than you. So yeah, first of all, how many of you guys are there in the crew?
How many of us did? This is Donna, by the way.
How's it?
He's the
Hey,
Bantwana's
shoot,
drummer
Donna.
and the producer.
Okay, Donna.
Yeah, there's geez, how many
Seven,
of
eight,
us?
eight.
I think there's 8 of us. So it's me, it's Ryan, um, it's Donna, the drummer. Then
Chorus.
there's chorus. They do the vocals. There's 3
Three.
of them. Then there's the lead vocalist Ukoli, and then obviously we have a couple of features. We've got guys that we feature now and then, and yeah.
Okay. Wow, man. I stumbled upon Bantwanas, by mistake. I was on Instagram and, you guys advertised the song. I think it was Ingoma, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
And I was just drawn to the hook. Hey, hey, my cause. I was like, oh, this is cool. It is such a catchy hook. And then I went and then I went to your Instagram page, and I saw what you guys were doing, and I went on Google. But I was struggling to find, who is behind this group, up until I did a bit of more digging, and then I found you guys. So, I'm glad that I think, I'm going to be one of the first people to actually, document you guys properly. So I'm very excited about this interview. So thank you so much for your time, guys. I really appreciate it. And first of all, Blanca, congratulations on your project that you dropped today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. Africa Gets Physical, Volume 3.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's surprising to see someone drop an EP a compilation in 2020. Why a compilation?
it's just that there's so much, like, not to take away from this interview, but there's so much content out there that I feel like people don't are not exposed to, I mean, if you get, let's just take Amapiano, for example. There's a lot of guys that are doing Amapiano. There's a lot of guys that are doing, your Afro house,
Mm.
and for me, I think, it's just one of those things where I don't know if it's a blessing in disguise, because of what we have now with obviously the COVID and so forth, that the people have been yearning for music. They've been looking for music because we don't have. Yes, we have the parties and all of that on let's just say on TV. Guys are streaming all over, but at the same time, we don't have actual content going out. Like the new and the fresh content, and introducing like a lot of producers. I've actually gone to dig like producers that have either not featured uh, on
Mm-hmm.
compilations before. Guy, the guy called Shift from Botswana, he's
Mm.
brought some fire. There's another guy, Utau, also from Botswana, and on the comp, he's actually, I don't know if that song is either going to December. I'm 100% sure that. going to do some damage in the summer. But the whole point was really to unearth, you know, a lot of guys that are really doing well, that are producing high quality, that are producing stuff that is ready to go to the world. But, you know, like Clock, for example, on there also like a veteran. There's Tandy Try, there's Ryan on there, there's Carrie Andersoul, there's Cool. There's a lot of guys. Some of them, I think people will be introduced to for the first time, but some will also be introduced to now say, okay, cool. Now I know who this guy is. And I think everyone in the comp really brought their A game. Like no one was playing around. I don't think there's a song on the comp that you'd see at all. You know, from last song, there's a guy, he was a former student of mine years back. But now he's circled, you know, he's a producer, like he's a well-rounded producer. And I think more than anything, it's just to just highlight one, my sound, you know, what I collect, what actually gives me the tick. What happened there? Oh.
No, yeah.
So yeah, man, and I think more than anything, it's really just to bring all of that full on, and to get into like soon we're releasing Bantwanas. Back to Bantwanas now. We're soon releasing Bantwanas in the next 2 weeks or so. Why does this thing keep on? Sorry, man. I think I don't know why my light keeps on going.
But I can see you perfectly. I can see you perfectly. Maybe it's just on your side.
Yeah, it's very weird. I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, man. We've got music. We've got a lot of music that we've been working on, even as the group. So as Bantwanas, it's more of we sit in studio, we jam a lot. I jam a lot with these guys, even on Encompassing production. And when it comes to Bantwanas, I'd say it's more made out for festivals. You know, we're more of the big room sound, you know, more for the bigger stages and so forth. And then I think Blanca Mazimela is more for, you know, just the underground scene. I'm really trying to separate. But yeah, like that's why I think we're releasing some stuff, you know, some good. I really think we're releasing some good stuff, and it's taken quite a long time to get the team to sort of now gel. You know, everyone literally on the same level in terms of, you know, how they look at the project and in terms of ideas and stuff. So everyone in the group really contributes to product. You know, it's not just a producer. Can you still see me?
Yeah, no, I can see you. I can see both of you guys.
It's so weird because it goes off on our side. I don't know why. But the screen grows blank, so I was thinking that maybe there's something wrong. But
no,
yeah,
I'll let you know if there are problems with the picture. But from my side, I see you guys perfectly.
Okay, cool. So yeah, man, I mean, for us, I mean, we spend a lot of time together in studio. These guys, Donna, you know, and all of them, everyone with ideas and the next project, you know, the next product. So, and it's taken some time, but now we've found the mojo. We found, you know, the whole thing of really defining what our sound is and where our sound is going, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you know, you guys, you know, one of the projects that you dropped, I think the last project before this one was #2 on Beatport, you know, on the global scale. And, you know, that's big. So, you know, for you guys as a crew, as Bantwanas, you know, to reach that milestone, how was that like for you? How was that experience like for you guys?
I think I like it's probably the same. I think yes, we look forward to getting like the big stuff, but I mean more than anything, I'd really say that the main aim is to really get, you know, like some proper African content that really is fit for the world, and then I think people interpret in which way they do. So I feel like for Bantwanas, I think it's more of really getting something that's really authentic, something that each and every person in the crew really believes, you know. And it's not a matter of trying to conform to anything. This whole project started as a studio jam and really got into like a whole crew, you know. So anything, I really think we've come to a point where, you know, whatever happens, if we, I don't know, maybe we might win an award someday. I'm looking for a Grammy, but let's just say we win a Grammy. That's just a section of, you know, all our thoughts, you know, all our ideas in studio, you know, and we're putting all of that into all mega project. And I really think it's just one of those things where I wouldn't, just going back to your question, I wouldn't say it changes anything more than it just puts a lot of pressure, you know, on the next, delivering the next project, because it's cool, like, not, let's just say you get number 80 on the top 100, now we're cool. But as soon as you climb up, it puts a lot of other pressure to you, because now you see that, okay, cool, the reception there is actually good, and whatever you're doing in studio, you need to obviously keep up. And that's why I'd say, you know, more now than anything, it's really about making sure that we are maintaining, you know, that that quality in the product.
Yeah. What happened to Jonah, the you know, the drummer? I was gonna ask
No,
him about.
he just went to the
Oh, is
toilet.
it? Oh,
He went to the
okay. Okay. And then, you know, man, you're dropping an EP on the 18th of September,
correct.
and it's called Gus and Lib. You know,
Mm-hmm.
looking at the title, one would think, this is an English EP, but it's actually not. Can you just explain the title for us?
So okay, so between the Mazimela stuff and the Bantwana stuff, there is like a small link in terms of where it comes from. You know, for instance, we go backtrack a track like Ngoma, for example. Ngoma not for Ucwanini, Salaglandela, like, which their name, you know, but at the same time, the side Ngoma in English means song, you know, so Ingoma, you know. So it's something that I feel like, look, it worked very well, because I could really say Yingoma Gangoma, but I couldn't call it that. We couldn't call it that, but we just had to call it Ungoma, you know. But at the same time, it's something that comes from within, you know. It's my clan name, it's a direct connection to the song. And I think more than anything, it was a song that really spoke to the, that says in that click, no, hey, no ngauze, you know, which means that when no ngauze is Nyanya Sakwaxhosa, you know. There's many no ngauze also, you know, that you can read up, but more than anything, it's just connecting that, you know, with where we are and how we were actually trying to just connect. For me, music is a direct connection for me to the ancestors. It's a way that I channel and I see those guys on the other side, you know. So when you can actually now do that in song, and really be able to connect. So when it comes to Gus and Lib, my late there's two grandfathers, my great grandfather and my great the great grandfather, the one that, you know, gave birth to Ulibalele, which is Lib, right? And great grandfather Gus Tegeke, which is Gus. So if you look at the cover there, you'll see that there's an old man sitting. That is my grandfather. He's this is Ugulana Gus Tegeke Nolibalele, which is Gus and Lib, you know. So now birthed him, which is basically what's on the cover. So I really, I don't, something that is in when it comes to music is that it's really just more of a connection to the other side. Like I've come to a point where, you know, my music and where I channel the music is really not my ideas. You know, I get into the studio, it's like you get this thing in your head and you're like, okay, cool. You go sleep, you wake up, and this thing is still ringing in your head. It simply means that someone else is really channeling these ideas, you know, and the ideas come from somewhere that is not just within, you know. Like I channeled those. It's really not trying to be disingenuous, but You know, I go home so often, and the first thing that I get when I go home is like a new melody every single time. Go home to the Eastern Cape, go home, I get to Epshanti, the kraal, and I announce that I'm home. And I promise you, the following day, it's be like they're giving me a song. It's like, here's a new song. We go and compose this and stuff. So it's really one of those things. For me, the first bit of my music, I'd say the first 10 to 15 releases is going to be, personally, just for Blanca Mazimela, stuff that's going to be honoring, you know, the late people, my grandfathers, my late great grandfathers, it's honoring them purely because they've made it possible for a lot of things to be around. There wouldn't be a Blanca Mazimela if there wasn't a Gus, if there wasn't a Lib, if there you know, a Dikani, if there wasn't Umamdolo, if there wasn't Twanini, there wouldn't be any of those things. And more than anything, the first bit is really to just speak to them, honor them, thank them, and then we can move on to all the other stuff. So you won't find any song now that is not going to be about, you know, someone, that is not going to be about, you know, an ancestor that has made it possible, you know. And yeah, it's not that some people get bored by this whole conversation about ancestors stuff, but I really think, you know, that before anything, before we are the people that we are, before we've acquired all the knowledge, all of these things were made possible by a certain amount to certain people. You know, these people have made it possible for us to really do these things that we do today, you know, and without them, a lot of things would not be possible, you know. And through that, and through honoring that, and through all of the work that I do is not my, you know, it's and the thing is, with the crew, the guys have now understood where to channel all of these things, you know, like where, for instance, it's more of, what is your story? What are you trying to tell? What are your people telling you? What are you telling you to sing, you know? And that then comes back into play, you know? So I really think the unison, you know, even with Ryan, Ryan channels some deep, yeah, but he channels some deep ancestral stuff. And I really think it's just one of those things that makes the group also a bit more unique in terms of how we conduct studio sessions, how, you know, we bounce each other and so forth. So it's really just, I'd say, Bantwanas would probably be the ancestral group or something like that. I don't know, because we're very our ancestors.
Yeah, and uh, I saw you posted on Instagram. You know, there's a video where you guys are performing in front of a crowd in the village, and I just love the background. I've never seen anything like that before, where people are embracing, you know, their roots, especially in the dance culture community. And you know, it was such a beautiful setting for me. So you know, I even commented, I'm like, yo, I wanna put this on my platform. What's the plan with that footage? Like, are you gonna do more stuff like that? You know, what's the
Yeah.
vision there?
So the vision there was, so we recently had a writing camp at home. So we went home actually to the Eastern Cape. So I'm from Edu, you know, in a small village called Epolotwa. And that's where we went for a writing camp. So normally we have these writing camps like in every different location where we all meet up, and obviously we spend about a week. We sit in a room, we write some music, and then it depends on whatever comes out from that camp. So while we're in the process of that, I mean, we were there. I'm very close. I sit in that crowd every single morning. First thing that I do. My dad and my grandfather used to sit in the very same spot, and it was really one of those things where, you know what, it felt just right. You know, it felt like I'm not trying to showcase anything differently. It's just like anyone. You'd record a live set at home. I'm recording a live set at home, but my home, there's a crowd, there's sheep, there's like a whole view behind it. And more than anything, you know, it just looked cool. It really looked cool. And I think the connection was even more, you know, when I sent that to my dad. He was like, okay, cool. Now I understand what you do, because now you're really doing it at home. And I think your ancestors, great grandfather would be proud to actually see this. It's a pity. I mean, it was obviously during the thing, but more than anything, in family gatherings, we have that. We sit next to the crowd when there's a ceremony and stuff, and oh mama, they sing, they perform, they dance by cleanser and all of those things. So it's really something that's not foreign to what normally happens. The only difference now is that I've got a pair of decks. I've got a drummer there. I've got a keyboard player. Then we obviously have the vocalists who are then coming to the front. So more than it's just one of those things where I really think the connection was there. As I said earlier, is that I think we channeled the music from the ancestors. And I just woke up that morning. I was like, guys, let's just take all the studio gear. Let's just put it there. Let's just have a jam. And the nice thing was that it was recorded, yes, but it wasn't recorded for the purpose of now we're doing a live stream and everything and all of that. We were really just like, oh, okay, cool. This can actually, this is cool. We're just jamming in front. And the video went wild, eh? Like it went out there. And the first thing that people were really connected, it reminded them of home. It reminded of them of some of the people where they come from, and how it is to really just be, I think, authentic in a lot of things, like we were not trying to make, it was just us really just jamming in front of, Ebuhlanti, and that was it. That's really it, So there wasn't anything beyond that where I think people would really think it's just, like, I don't know. But it really it turned out okay. Like it turned out cool. So that live set is coming up. We're gonna announce the date where we're gonna air it. It's a full on performance of Bantwana's music. Some released, some unreleased stuff. There's a lot of unreleased stuff that people haven't heard, that we've also been working on, that we've put on that particular performance. So yeah, man, like it's just one of those things where I really think, that's why I say the project is very, very unique, because in the approach of how we compose, how we do the music, it's very different to what to other traditions. It's a blessing and a curse, because I mean it's daunting to handle 7 people in a project, and but also it's rewarding in that the idea just flow from a lot of people in the crew. We've got Donna, like I mentioned. I mean, then there's Ndumi, so he's also part of the crew. He's a composer, and more than anything, it's between all of us where we really move this whole thing around. How the songs then come, back, songs that are out. Your Ngomas, your Gitanda, Bravo Zulu, and I think that's the beauty of this project, is that it's really is unique how the end result then gets to come out.
Okay, I know, cool, man. Thanks for answering that. There's a question here from the real Marobs. He wants to know, what was it like working with the Get Physical team and with Ryan Mercadoy? Yeah, I hope I'm not butchering his name.
Yeah, the first one, like, I mean, I think for me, right, personally, even if it's any producer, but when you start to see where music goes and how big the world is, then you actually realize it's not just in Africa, it's not just in South Africa, it's not just in Joburg. There's people that really appreciate the music from China, from all around the world. It's just one of the things where I really think with working with Get Physical really reinforce that there's a huge world out there. There's a world that wants the music that you're making, that you think for instance, it might not be even relevant in South Africa. People might be like, nah, it's not our sound. But some corner of the earth, somewhere in Beirut, or somewhere in, let's just say, even Phuket or whatever, around, there's a corner that really, what, these guys are really making some fire stuff, and we really love their music. And that's the one thing that I think every single producer has to have in mind, is that you're not making music for a certain group of people. There's a world out there that would really appreciate the music that and therefore don't just think of making the song and then trying to go play it, not, I don't want to say kasi, but at a local spot, and then that's it. That's where, no, there's like a whole huge world, I mean, it's the same thing. Cape Town, you play your songs in Cape Town, and then you're like, okay, cool, this works here. But then you come to Joburg and you realize that, what, I thought, my music was all that it is, but right here, there's a lot of stuff that is, and there's a bigger audience here, So working with Get Physical just really, raised that for me. It really just showed me that side, that there's a big world. And obviously working with Ryan, I think more than anything, our relationship sort of like transformed on a natural, basis. I don't know what he saw in me, but I mean, throughout the years, obviously being someone that has been, mentoring and just trying to show me, I don't know, the hidden talent. I still don't know. I'm not gonna, but more than anything, I mean, I learn from him on a daily basis. I mean, he's made records, that have gone, to do a lot of amazing stuff around the world. And I mean, I still sit and I still am in awe when it comes to, how much I still have to learn, in terms of what production is, where your production can go, and how to obviously look at the bigger picture of what music production is. So it's a good thing. Like it's a very good, I'd say it's a good feeling, purely because, at least now I know that, one, I mean, in the beginning it was tough, I'm not gonna lie, because 2009, about 2000 and I'd say 2013, it was really like fire, like, because I started working with him in 2009, and it was grueling. I mean, it was like, you know what, maybe I'm not cut out for this music thing, like, because it was just one of those things where you get tested, and I think the biggest part of the test is where it goes. 2000 we started, and I only probably started releasing stuff around 2015. And
Wow.
it was yeah, like it was there. I had music, and I had music that he really rejected. It was like, nope, 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 and I was like, but this is my favorite song. Can't you hear this? And I was like, nah, it's not doing it. And I got a song that really was like, then he was like, okay, now we're talking. Now let's go to studio. So I think more than anything, I think for every single producer, you want someone that's really not gonna see you as, whoever you are. Someone who's gonna be like, we see more. I meet a lot of that I've met in the road where I've heard something and I was like, look, I'm looking for more than what you're actually offering now. What you're offering right now, excuse me, what you're offering right now is just a tiny bit of what you can, hence, like me, there's a lot of guys that are obviously unknown, which I've really felt like going to be game changers. They're going to be guys that are going to do like super well in the industry, as long as they maintain what they're doing and they maintain the process that they take at. They're on the road to really stuff, and I think that's one of the biggest things where I've got to now, that it's really, I'm not going to say it's about giving back, but it's really about saying, if I bring in 10 kids that are really talented, the biggest thing that's happening is that the scene is going up. The South African is getting, promoted. It's getting seen, and that's the difference. That's the difference between what what we see as producers today versus what the real is about music production. So, and obviously I think more than anything, you wanna pay it forward, but at the same time, for me, I put my experiences, and when I sit with a lot of these guys, it's really based on my life experience, how I got into, how I really got to really, make the music that I'm making today. I'm still not anywhere. That's a fact, Bantwanas is still, we're still young as Bantwanas, and we're still developing, so the sound is also getting to a point where, we're now finding the signature. We're now getting, refining how we actually do our music and stuff. And it's a cool process to be in, purely because you don't want to get to a point where you're like, we know, we just go into studio, we've got this template that we work on or whatever. Now we still on like this ideal, this idea won't work. We're trying, let's just say 100 different ideas, and we're really trying to just consolidate all of these ideas into what we want, which is cool, which is really, it really showcases what, what we can do together.
And you guys, you don't drop a lot of music. You just drop, like two. Like now, you guys are only dropping 2 tracks. So when is are we ever gonna receive like a full body of work from Bantwanas?
You are okay. So okay. So before, let me just tell the story. We had a body of work that was go out last year, right? But then that body of work got signed by All Day I Dream. Most of the stuff that we had on our album that was, then we had to go back to the drawing board again, then compose and get some stuff for the album. Even now, I'd say the album is like, there's like a couple of songs. I think we're missing about 3 or 4 songs
Okay.
to find the album. So the album would be in 2021. But for now, we're really just putting it. To, yeah. So yeah, I'd say the music that we have now. Donna's back. Welcome back, Donna.
Hey, sure, Don. Welcome back.
Thank you, man.
So we now like the stuff that, for instance, Gus Lib, and there's another track called Ngelengele, which is the B-side EP. And then we've got another EP that's coming out, I think, in October or November, if I'm not mistaken. It's stand corrected, which is also ready. There's a lot of songs that we have that are ready. If we wanted to release an album today, we could release an album today, But there's other stuff that we've also signed to different to labels that are also coming up, in the work. So I think the most work that we're going to release is in 2021. The full album is coming in 2021. And then, yeah, we've got some surprises. There's a lot of cool collaborations that we've got, remixes that we've got. I can't say yet, because that's obviously, I don't know why people, especially production, it's like, no, I can't say. I can't tell you that we're going to release a remix with DJ Smank, and all of that. And then it's like, Mara, already. Why don't you just say, So we've got releases that are, got remixes that are coming with cool producers, from cool producers. And I think, it's really something that's going to cement, the whole thing of, we are working, we are in studio. And I think from the writing camp, like the writing camp that we did recently, we did about, how many songs did we do the last?
7, 8.
7, yeah. We got like 8 songs from the previous camp, this recent camp.
Wow.
So there's like, we've got content. I'm not gonna lie, my manager would probably, I don't know, he's not here, né? He'd probably be saying something else, but we do have content. We really do have content. And more than anything, I think it's now just, trying to just align things and put things together. first with this EP, and then the follow-up EP that's going to come in November. Take a break between December and Jan. I think the last EP before we drop the album will then drop either in Jan or in Feb of 2021. We drop the album. And then, then we see what, the people have been waiting for. Maybe this album is going to be a game changer. I don't know. I'm very subjective about music because it's art, so it's just one of the...
I think the music is great, man. I personally think that, in South Africa, people are still sleeping on you guys, but the rest of the world appreciates, your sound, which is weird for me because I think, and obviously, you might say I'm biased, but I listen to a lot of house music, and not saying that other guys are not authentic, but I think your sound and the Amapiano sound in terms of authenticity, it's two different sounds, but very authentic, very South African, you know what I mean? As opposed to, the other subgenres, but I'm not going to get into that debate. Last question. I want to know, right? What is I noticed that with the house community, an artist can have different deals with kind of like different stables, licensing agreements, and all that. So how do you guys manage to always make sure that your music is available, worldwide to a global audience? I know you touched a bit on it when you mentioned Get Physical earlier on, but just touching a bit more of like maybe the business side, how it works.
True. That's a very tough question for a Friday. But I really think, I mean, when for me, just from a personal point of view, I've always benchmarked my music, not in terms of the ideas, but in terms of the quality, against your international. There's guys like Rufus Du Sol, there's a lot of guys internationally that are really doing something similar to what we're doing. But at the same time, the music that we then put out, is really authentically, African. And also we really try to include as much organic instruments as we can that are rich and are indigenous to the African continent, in our sounds and stuff. So we've got Akinwale. What about Akinwale, the guitarist? He's from Nigeria. And he really plays this thing, like he plays this African blues guitar in such a way that, wherever you go around the world, you'll never hear an African guitar played like that. And I think more than anything, it's really trying to reinforce the definition and the distinctness of the sound. And then I think that's what appeals to a lot of other markets also internationally. That's a sound that they don't hear, they don't have. No one is making that sound across the land there. And I think more than anything, we saw that, our music is really appreciated that side. Since we went, to fish that side. Obviously, this is a question I think that management would probably answer best. But just to answer it from my point of view, it would just be, one of those things where it's us trying to go to the world. And us going to the world means that we obviously have to chat to people who are, in those markets, in those scenes, in the world, and to really just take our product and align it there and just give it to them and be like, okay, cool, this is what we're making, and we really want to. I mean, obviously, one day soon we will be touring the world, and the biggest thing that we'll be doing while touring the world will be, make the sound that we're making, like if you were to be in a studio session, like just a jam session or a Bantwanas session, you'd actually see it's just a whole connection of all these energies. And what we do when we're on stage is really just what we do when we're in studio, when we're making the music. So I'd really say, like, you first need to, look at a bit in terms of just trying to align. There's another band called this guy's called One Republic. I don't know if you got One Republic. They made the song that was remixed that was done by Timberland or featured.
Yes.
Apologize, they're similar to us. They're just a bunch of guys who are just, you know, producers, drummer, and all of this stuff, and they're just writing music. And for me, it was really just trying to benchmark that day, and whatever, then obviously do it in our own way. But the quality, you know, and how it needs to just reach and appeal to the world, it needs to be on that level, you know. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, no, it did, man. I think, you know, what I take from your answer is just, you know, just be authentic, and you know, and that will, you know, eventually catch the ears that it's intended to. You know what I mean? And if you produce good music, then the world is always listening. You know, you don't always have to go out of your way to reach them, but you know, it's an organic thing basically. So yeah,
Yeah.
man. I really appreciate that. So obviously, last question. This I promise is the last one. As as a group, you all have your own solo projects. We know Blanca. We know your solo projects. Your Donna, like bro, like on your side, are you working on any solo projects?
Not yet. But I'm planning one. Say soon. In the production side, house music. But yeah, something soon is coming. Like, trust me.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry, man. Yeah, but yo, man, look.
Just
No, yeah, no, it went blank for a few seconds. Yeah. No, I'm sorry for putting you on
yeah.
the spot. I'm just curious. You know, I'm just curious to hear everybody's solo projects and voices, you know?
Yeah.
No, the thing is, I'm
Yeah,
laughing is
but
that you really have to put him on the spot because I mean, so Udonna is also from Edudwa, from my hometown. So I also feel, just personally, besides of the Bantwanas thing, I really feel like you know, it's something that sort of a line that he has to go to. You know, he has to go in that direction. In production one, and I mean, he's sharing a space with a lot of, you know, producers and a lot of ideas and all of these things. So someday soon, it will get to a point where, you know, he's now. I'm not speaking for you, but he's gonna get to a point where, you know, he's gonna sort of like between all of the sounds that he's hearing, he's gonna carve his own. I think he's in that process now of just identifying his direction in terms of where he needs to go as a producer. And it's a good thing, man. I mean, people should not be always alarmed at, like, as individuals, we're always gonna be individuals, you know. Like I'm Blanca alone, I'm an individual. Donna's Donna alone is an individual. But when we all come together, it's this thing that is Bantwanas. But at the same time, as an individual, he's always gonna be one of those. It's always going to happen that he sits alone, he has his ideas, he wants to explore these ideas. I think from me as a group, you know, we want to embrace that purely because he's also a group. So we don't want to be like, Donna's gone, now we're going to break up. No, you know, it's a natural. I don't want to mention names, but you know, there's this tendency of a group would come in, it would be big, you know, and then people just assume that, oh, now they're broken up or whatever. It's not like that. It's like an individual gets to a point in life where they're like, okay, cool, I've tried something that I really want to, you know, focus on a solo thing. And this is not me saying, excuse me, this is not me saying, oh, I'm gone for the group, I'm doing my own thing. No, it's just simply meaning, you know, I really want to tap into, you know, to something that I really feel like it's time. The time has come for me to go in this direction, you know. And for me, I always try to embrace that purely because, you know, this person will always come back and be like take for example, you know, like this is out of the thing. There's Beyonce, there's Kelly Rowland, there's Michelle, you know, and they all, when they were Destiny Child, or they still are Destiny's Child, when they all come together, it's this whole big party. It's like this whole big jam, you know. But then as individually, she then gets to a point where she's like, you know what, this is where I want to go, you know, which is cool. And you always want any individual. So with him, I mean, he sounds like he's mumbling now, but I think, you know, a couple of years from now, I really want to look forward to listening and watching Udonna do his own thing. You know, I'm thinking because he's a drummer, it makes it even much better because he can do a lot of things as a drummer and a producer. So it's just one of those things where years to come, you want to watch it because it's going to be something electrifying. And again, you want to come back and you want to watch Bantwana because he's never leaving Bantwanas. Never, ever.
Yeah, no, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to the EP to drop. I can't wait. And yeah, man, keep making fire music and making South Africa proud.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
Donna, what do you got to say?
Just watch out for Bantwanas. That's all I've got to say. Just watch out for Bantwanas.
What is Bantwanas going to do?
Bantwanas is probably correct. Yeah. I don't have much to say, but just watch out for Bantwanas.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, and to everybody that's been watching us, shout out. You know, it's a Friday, people are drinking, but you took your time out to watch us. Thank you so much. The interview is going to be available on the wall and the website tomorrow. Thank you.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Sharp, sharp.